UFC 269 Oliveira versus Poirier takes place this Saturday. The final pay-per-view of 2021 looks to close out with a banger of fights, and I'm going to give my predictions and what I think will happen this Saturday. Now, to kick off the main card, we have Raulian Paiva taking on Sean O'Malley. Now, Paiva is 21-3, currently on a three-fight win streak, and has wins over noted bantamweight Kyler Phillips. Now, he was number 15th ranked at some point, but he lost that ranking a little while ago. Now, in his last win versus Kyler Phillips, he kind of kept his hands low, and he was susceptible every time he blitzed in, because that was what he did. He blitzed in a lot, and he kept getting caught while coming blitz in. He even got dropped in his first round, but somehow he survived the onslaught, and he got Kyler Phillips beat him by a decision after tiring and wearing on him down. I don't think that's going to work for Sean O'Malley because Sean doesn't normally get tired, and if he keeps his hands low, Sean's just going to piece him up because Sean is an excellent boxer. And then you have Sean O'Malley, currently 14-1 on a two-fight winning streak, wins over Thomas Almeida and Chris Moutinho, both knockouts. Sean, he has the excellent boxing, known for his striking, known to kind of piece up his opponents every time he gets in. And Sean, he has tendencies to play with his food a lot. He can easily finish fights, quickly in the first round, but he likes to kind of savor the moment, bask in the spotlight, because Sean is, as he self-described, the king of the unranked, the pay-per-view opener, because this is, I think, I want to say his third pay-per-view he's open, and, this is, I want to say the highest ranked guy, but not really, because they're neither ranked, but at one point he was ranked. I see Sean utterly dominating Paiva with his stand-up and just finishing. I don't think he finishes in the first like he could or should. I think he draws it out to the second round, kind of brings up the crowd, and hopefully after this win, maybe finally Sean will get a ranked opponent. But it seems like the way Sean's contract, he doesn't want to rank because he said he gets paid the same amount as fighting ranked as he does unranked. So until Dana White, gives him the better contract, I'm sure Sean is going to be compliant with fighting the unranked guys. Next fight on the card, you have number 6 flyweight Kai Kara-France taking on the former bantamweight champion Cody Garbrandt. Cody's making his flyweight debut. The first time in his career he's made flyweight. He's fought at featherweight before, catchweight for certain bantamweight fights and bantamweight, but never flyweight. Now, Cody, in his last 5 fights, he's 1-4, coming off that unanimous decision loss to Rob Font. Now, the question is, there's two sides of the coin for Cody Garbrandt. There's patient Cody, the one we saw with Rafael Assunção, which let him capitalize on that knockout win in the second round. And you got aggressive Cody, the one that goes in guns blazing, and that was a result of him getting knocked out in 3 fights in a row. It's just the question, which Cody are we going to see on Sunday night? Another question for this fight is the weight cut factor, because we know Cody, he's never been a flyweight, so we don't know how this cut is going to affect him. Will he be completely depleted in the cage, or will he just have the strength advantage and not even, notice? So all these factors kind of varies on what kind of performance Cody will deliver on Saturday. And I, for one, can't wait to see him on the scale, how he looks, and also in that first, and if it goes to that second round, how he, manages to deal with the weight cut. Then you have Kai Kara-France, who was 2-2 in his last 4 fights, coming out a knockout win in his last fight, and Kai, he's used to the flyweight, he knows how to compete at flyweight, unlike Cody. Now, will Kai have the speed advantage, or kind of, have the pace? Because if Cody is depleting himself, how much will he bring to that cage? Which is why, and also, you don't know which Cody you're getting, the factors. I'm calling this a Kai Kara-France unanimous decision victory because I think Kai is more used to or knows what it means to be a top flyweight. But it will be interesting because it could go 2 ways. It could go for Cody, the Frankie Edgar, how, Frankie, he seemed fine. The cut didn't affect him, and Jose Aldo, when they dropped down to the bantamweight. And since Cody's, younger than them making the move, it's going to be interesting. But I do think Kai kind of knows what it is and kind of has that speed advantage. And Kai isn't as gun-shy as Cody is when he's passive, and Kai's smarter when he is aggressive, unlike Cody. So I think Kai's going to win by unanimous decision. Moving on to the welterweight division, in a clash of top 15 fighters, you got number 12 Jeff Neal taking on number 40 Santiago Ponzinibbio. This fight kind of questioned before because Neal was dealing with some legal issues about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, got a DWI, but Dana White assured this fight's still on. And this fight has potential to be a fight night contender because both guys, heavy KO powers. You got Neil, who's coming off a two-fight losing streak, but his loss is over because of Wonder Boy and Magny, two of the division's top. Neil, he has some great KO power. His knockout of Mike Perry, Nico Price, Frank Camacho, his decision win over Bilal Muhammad. We see that Neil does have the abilities and the skills to get it done when the time is needed. And he is willing to fight. I've never seen a fight where him kind of back up pressure and he just keeps, going, wanting to swing and bang. And then you have Ponzinibbio. He's winning his last fight. He has huge wins over Mike Perry. He has the knockout of Neil Magny. Beat Gunnar Nelson, Nordine Taleb. He's beat Sean Strickland, who's making headway in the middleweight division. So, and once again, he is also KO power and also willing to strike. So this is going to be a firefight. Now the question is, whose chin is going to give out first? Now, I've seen Neil has not been knocked out yet in the UFC, while Ponzinibbio has. So I think, Neil has that edge and has, a stronger chin. So I think a couple of cracks, and not just the punches, it's also, the kicks, his kick over Mike Perry that, weakened him. While Ponzinibbio, he got knocked out by Li Jing Liang. So that was a good factor into it. But I'm picking Jeff Neal to win this fight by round 2 knockout. But it still should be, high contenders up there for fight of the night. Moving on, co-main event, the first of 2 title fights of the evening. You got the bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes defending her strap against number 3 ranked Juliana Pena. And what's probably, I don't know the odds, is the most, if not the most lopsided fights in UFC history. Now, Pena, she's on a 1-fight winning streak. She got the TKO win, I don't know TKO win, but she finished Sarah McCann in her last fight. But she is a massive, I'm talking massive underdog because she's going up against Amanda Nunes, a woman who basically emptied out her whole division. She beat the Who's Who's of bantamweight, Valentina twice, Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, Holly Holm, Jermaine Durandamine, Raquel Pennington. It seems like there's no challengers left for her. Amanda Nunes, she just has a way to just break these girls' ways, just dominating fights, whether it's wrestling, a la Jermaine Durandamine, the one knockout power that she, demonstrated versus, Holly Holm. Not only what she done in bantamweight, but she essentially ended a division in featherweight. Her first round destruction of Megan Anderson, her dominating performance over Felicia Spencer, her basically knocking out Cyborg to Bellator. There's no woman on this planet that basically can hold a candle to it. The closest thing is Valentina Shevchenko, and Amanda's already beaten her twice. And well, the first time convincing match, the second time, either or. But it's MMA. Upsets happen. Matt Serra versus GSP. Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva. Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey. Upsets can happen. Do I think Julia Pena? Is it possible for Julia Pena to go out there and beat Amanda Nunes to become the bantamweight champion? Yes. What are the odds? I'd say less than 1% at that, because the resume of Juliana Pena is just not as good as Amanda Nunes. With Julia Pena, she got dominated by Valentina Shevchenko, a woman that Amanda Nunes, stood toe to toe with, and even, some might say lost to her. But it's just, I think it's basically you're sending Julia Pena a lamb to get slaughtered by Amanda Nunes. I think it'd be lucky to go past the first round, KO. I think maybe round 2, knockout, if that. But I just don't. It does not look good for Juliana Pena. I don't see a outlet for her to win because the striking, you give Nunes the advantage, grappling Nunes the advantage, and just everything. Like it's gonna be tough for Pena to win, and I don't see where she can win. That's not mean. It's just a fact. Like, she's going against the greatest woman MMA fighter of all time. There's not much to say. So good luck to Juliana, but We'll see. Moving on to the main event, you have Charles Oliveira, the lightweight champ, taking on number one ranked Dustin Poirier. Now, Dustin is viewed by many as the uncrowned king of the lightweights because he had a chance to fight Charles earlier for the belt when it became vacant after Khabib retired, but he decided to fight to finish the trilogy with Conor McGregor. Now, since 2017, Dustin only has one loss to his name, and that's the Khabib fight. Now, since then, during this run, Dustin Poirier has just defeated the who's who of the 155-pound division, defeated Anthony Pettis, defeated Justin Gaethje, defeated Eddie Alvarez, defeated Dan Hooker, defeated Conor McGregor twice. It seems like as Dustin got older, he became, better, wiser, smarter as a fighter. His superior boxing is what's going to take him over the edge in this fight versus Charles Oliveira because he has the striking to back up his game. Moving on to the champ, Charles Oliveira. Now, some view Charles as, fool's gold, not the true champion because, yes, Charles is on a 9-fight winning streak currently, but if you kind of break down who he's beaten in those wins, it's kind of very, suspect. Nick Lentz, Clay Guida, Jim Miller, David Tamer, Jared Gordon. Those wins are those aren't the wins that scream, yeah, I am the world champion. It's what they are as his wins over Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee, Michael Chandler. Those what kind of elevated him to that championship status. Now, we said Dustin has the good striking. This is the classic striking versus grappling because Charles Oliveira is amazing at groundwork. He has the most UFC submissions, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So basically, who gets it to their zone first? And Charles Oliveira also, his hands are underrated. You saw the knockout of Michael Chandler. His knockout of Jared Gordon kind of also showed that. So it's going to be interesting, which side plays better. Now, in this fight, there's basically two main questions, For Charles, can he get the monkey off his back? It's going to be looming forever that he didn't beat Khabib. He didn't beat the guy to become the champion. It's going to be a fact. Now, if he beats Dustin, the number one guy, it doesn't fully take it off that he has to beat Khabib, but it kind of, reassures us that, yes, I am the guy. I'm the one fit to hold, the strap. And for Dustin, the question is, can he finally, break through and win the big one? He was interim champ, and going all the way to WEC, he never fought for the title. So this is his kind of chance to make Shreveport, Louisiana, proud of, who he is. Now, this will be a great match, a fun, exciting match. And I think Dustin takes it. I think he wins by knockout, but not soon. I think round 4, that's when kind of Dustin, flips the switch, takes over. I think the pressure kind of gets to Charles, and that's what finishes this fight. But I cannot wait to watch this go down. Now, some notable fights that also take place in the undercard. You got featherweights in Josh Emmett taking on Dan Ige. Barn burner, has the potential to be fight of the night. Both, heavy strikers, both laying it all out, and with that one knockout power. You got bantamweights, Dominic Cruz taking on Pedro Munoz. Cruz kind of wanting to prove that he's still the best bantamweight of all time, wanting to get back to that title shot, and Munoz, is always a dangerous fighter for everyone, no matter what, kind of proving he's still at the top and can still hang out with the best. In heavyweight division, Augusto Sakai taking on Tai Tuivasa. Tai, the one knockout power. Augusto, he also has the knockout power, but kind of not as much as Tai, but still heavyweights, heavy hitters. Still going to be an excellent fight. Flyweight division, you got Alexander Perez taking on Match now. Kind of interesting thing about flyweight division is basically every flyweight is basically 1 or 2 wins away from a title shot. So this one could be setting up for something interesting. You got Ryan Hall returning, hopefully seeing him rebound after suffering his first UFC loss by knockout. So we'll see what adjustment he made during his time off. And you got Randy Koss, who always delivers a great fight, no matter if he's on the winning side or the losing side. So all in all, this card is going to be fantastic. I can't wait for Saturday to view this, and I'm super excited.